to parliamentary records. Now, one party that defended Angela Rayner said Angela is not interested in silly stunts. She's interested in changing workers' lives. Unite rejected a deal in Birmingham, and they demanded pay. Angela might be pushed around. And she quit Unite some months ago. She's been fighting for equal pay for decades as a trade unionist and as a home care worker, and has experienced what it was like to be paid less as a working class woman for the same work. So there you go, a standoff in full public display between a major union backer of the Labour Party and the Deputy Prime Minister. What does this say about where the left is? What does it say about that? And I tell you this, there's a piece in the Guardian today, signs of new life. Is the British left making a comeback? We'll get into that in a few moments, but if you're fed up with the Labour Party, you've got options, haven't you? You've got options. There's a party called Majority, a progressive coalition. There's Owen Jones's party, We Deserve Better. There's also a potential new party with Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana, which, according to More in Common think tank, found that up to 18% of the British public might consider voting for. So you might have options, or do you think it will all split to the left? Should the trade unions give up on Labour? 0345 6060 973 where Ali Miraj on LBC 1260.
This is LBC.
Search kayak for great deals on Wait, that doesn't say flights. Search kayak for great deals on car hire. Kayak, you can compare hundreds of car rental sites to find great deals. Even better, you see costs up front. And if it's flexibility you're after, Kayak's got a handy free cancellation filter. Lovely stuff. So next time you're searching for car hire, at home, or vehicles, search Kayak and go see for yourself.
Car owners, you could be owed thousands in compensation. If you bought a car on finance from 2007 onwards, it may have been sold with hidden commissions. Text claim to 86688. My Claim Group. Authorized and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. You don't need to use a CMC. You can claim direct to your lender and the Financial Ombudsman for free. Text claim to 86688.
Claims made simple.
Great bolts of thunder. Disney's Hercules is now thrilling mortals in London's West End with epic spectacle and all the classic songs from the animated film. It's hotter than Hades, bigger than Mount Olympus. Disney's Hercules at Theatre Royal Drury Lane. Book your tickets now at herculesthemusical.co.uk. Missing it would be a Greek tragedy.
Ali Miraj on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Ali Miraj on LBC, it's 1218. Should the trade unions give up on Labour? 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. I want to hear from you. If you are a union member, how do you feel about your relationship with the Labour Party? Is this what you expected from a Labour Party? And this is all centring and being triggered around the fact that Unite the Union, one of Labour's biggest financial backers, is openly saying and questioning whether they should actually withhold funding from the Labour Party, and they're also claiming they have suspended Angela Rayner from Unite the Union. Her allies say she hasn't renewed her membership, so it's a moot point. What do you make of all this? 0345 6060 973, text 84850. And by the way, tell me what you think of where the left is, because there are options now. You don't have to go for Labour. There are other options too. Claire and Doff, good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon, Alex. First time I've spoken to you. Well, obviously I live down south, so I just can't understand why. I think that if the unions were to disassociate themselves with Labour, they wouldn't do it at their peril, because they do fight on their behalf, whether they're in government or not. But another point I'd like to make is there's very few councils that still have in-house refuse collectors, and I think if they are on special measures, they should. I think I've got a bit of feedback coming.
No, I can hear you. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. I'm the amount they're spending, that's the route to go. And then if these people want to reapply for their jobs, then they'll have to do it that way.
So
I know it sounds harsh.
So you're saying, Claire, that they should use contractors?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is exactly what the union would be absolutely against. I mean, what do you think, Claire, about what it says about relations between the unions and the Labour Party? I mean, we know that this is one of the biggest backers of the Labour Party in its history. I mean, 70 million quid since records began, Unite the Union has given Labour. If they are openly in warfare with the Labour Party, with the Deputy Prime Minister, for God's sake, what does that say about relations between leading unions and the Labour Party?
Well, to me, it's the same situation as the resident doctors now that are trying to
Yes,
hold
good point.
hostage.
Yes.
So why should we let refuse collectors hold people there hostage without to put up with the stink? That's not healthy.
Well, it's not healthy, but it's good that you mentioned the junior doctors too, because I think this whole thing on public sector workers and Labour now is coming to the fore that you can't simply bribe people and expect them to, well, you could argue that Streeting was too weak to start with. I mean, he gave them a, 22% pay rise, the doctors, and now they're coming back for 29% or whatever it is now. They're not satisfied.
Yeah, I mean, I understand they have lost a lot of money, and we do value our doctors. But, you know, there's only so much in a pot that you can give to people.
Where do you think this leaves the trade unions and the relationship between the Labour Party, Claire? I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying, but if you were a unionist, what would you be thinking about Labour? Do you think the unions actually need to get real and accept the fact that we don't have enough cash to go around and be sensible about it? Or do you think that they should actually withdraw funds and actually go somewhere else? There are other options they have.
They should realise that the pot is only so big.
Unfortunately, they're not realising the pot's only so big, because the argument that they would make is, well, why don't you go and get the pot bigger by taxing richer people, impose a wealth tax, don't beat up the poor people, don't try and balance the books on the backs of the poor. This is why we vote Labour, this is why we've supported you. We don't feel that you are batting for us anymore, and we're going to take our money elsewhere.
Yeah, but a lot, I mean, down south, I don't think you get a refuse collector driver earning that sort of money.
Well, we shall see what happens.
But I don't think we're getting the full story properly.
Well, I mean, it's been going on for months. What we do know is that they're concerned about this role being removed. They're also concerned about the level of pay going down, and they're entitled to do that. I think the bigger issue here is if there's a schism between them and the Labour Party, that bodes very, very badly for the Labour Party. Claire, thank you. Robert Ipswich, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ali.
What would you like to say, Rob?
Basically, I was at the Unite conference this weekend.
Were you? Oh, go on.
Yes, I was on conference.
Yep.
And to be honest with you, we have had negotiations after negotiations with Labour councils.
Why do you say they're not also?
I mean, I was an infrastructure last year with loads of basically the majority
Keep left and then continue straight on.
speak to us.
sorely by this government?
Oh, 100%. The vote, I think, when I was in the room, and the vote was nearly unanimous.
So if you take the vote for what? For
Keep
removing her,
right,
suspending her
and
membership,
then
or for...
continue straight on.
And trying to step away from the Labour Party.
So that was also part of the vote, was it? Right, opening.
Go
So then,
straight
just
on.
let me ask you this. Are you a man of the left? Would you describe yourself as a man of the left?
Probably a man of the centre.
Interesting. Okay, because generally people would argue that Unite is on the left, right? It supported Labour historically.
Yeah.
Where would it potentially take millions of cash that it gives to the Labour Party every year? Where would it take it?
I think they're going to try and promote the rights of their workers and actually put it into funding campaigns for working people. Instead of giving instead of giving it to the Labour Party, which are not.
Well, that's very interesting. I wonder if they also assessing their political options and are changing political landscape
Keep
and thinking,
right,
well, actually,
and then
there are new
continue
parties
straight
sprouting
on.
up on the left as well, where we might be able to deploy some cash. Rob, thank you. Interesting perspective.
Go
And you were
straight
there
on.
in the room, so I appreciate it. Andrew in Deptford, good afternoon.
Yes, hello there.
What would you like to say?
This kind of all reminds me of the winter of discontent. The miners keep on asking for outrageous rises. You had the Binman in London, same thing, and they were trying to take advantage of the situation at that time. However, what eventually happened was Thatcher came and said no. The caution hold on in the end, the unions ended up
Keep
a lot
right,
weaker, because
and then
there's been a
continue
slow
straight on.
expression, and it seems like the unions have not learned from their
Go
past
straight on.
mistakes.
But you see, Andrew, you could argue the union's job is to represent the interests of workers, their workers. Now, Sharon Graham feels that the Labour government is sorely letting them down because it's trying to palm them off to a bunch of commissioners who are acting on behalf of Birmingham Council and trying to come to an end of this dispute, and they're not satisfied, and they feel that they would have expected more from a Labour government, and specifically a Deputy Prime Minister who brandishes her left-wing credentials all over the place and is a potential leadership contender. It's fair enough, isn't it?
I think the unions is more to the point where they thought that automatically they're going to get what they required from Labour because of the support that they give to Labour in the way of the financial support and for the elections. So it's not kind of a payback. I think it's a much more.
There's nothing wrong in that. I mean, you get business people funding political parties expecting a payback too, don't they? It's all part of it.
No, you're 100% right. However, this time around, Labour has said, no, we can't do that. We have to put the economics of the country before our relationship with the unions.
Well, I think it's also the fact that there was a Labour council running this, which made a shambolic mess of the whole situation, as far as I can see. They might want to call in and argue otherwise. But Angela Rayner is trying to actually come to resolve this dispute in some way. It's been going on for months. We don't want it going on till December here. People's bins are not being collected. There's rat infestation over the place. We need to come to a conclusion. But the question really is, should the trade unions give up on Labour? Your argument, Andrew, is they should just grow up and get serious. Other people will disagree, but I thank you for your call, Andrew. Patrick says this: Ali, the new left party needs Mick Lynch as its leader. Then I would support it. Well, Mick Lynch, hasn't he retired from his job as RMT boss? Has he? I think he has. Maybe, and I tell you, Mick Lynch is a very, very effective campaigner. I couldn't disagree more with him, but he's very, very effective at what he does. And
And
Ron
then
says this:
continue
no
straight on.
should hold union membership. They are supposed to represent all their
Go
constituents.
straight
Thank you, Ben. My question is this: should the trade unions give up on Labour? 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. You're listening to Ali Mirage on LBC 12:30 News Headlines with Rachel.
Speaking to LBC, the head of the Unite Union says Labour is not defending working people as its fallout with the party intensifies. Unite accused the Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner, of attempting a Houdini act over her handling of the Birmingham bin strikes. Home Office figures show more than 900 people attempted to cross the channel in small boats since Thursday. Earlier this week, a new agreement was reached with France. And the third heat wave of the summer is set to peak later, with high temperatures set to continue throughout today and tomorrow. Amber heat alerts remain in place for much of England. LBC weather, another hot day with long sunny spells for most, cooler around eastern coastal areas, a high of 33 degrees.
LBC.
On Lidl's starting lineup this week only, get British courgette for £1.89 per kilo and fun-size easy peelers for just 69p. Plus loads of quality fruit and veg, and prices never seemed so good. So good, so good. Lidl, official part of the UEFA Women's Euro 2025. We're on your team. Subject to availability, selected stores, GB only.
I've been asked by Shredded Wheat to read out their ingredients list. Drum roll. Whole grain wheat. No, that's it. A single ingredient high fibre cereal. Shredded wheat. It simply does it. I'm telling you, that's it. Applies to shredded wheat websites and
Yes, that's right. This was all does have those running rules. Unfortunately, all for the calls test only for 3 months. So please, not helping the world, especially
Accept gaps in your holiday. Don't accept gaps in your travel insurance. The doubt. Insure and Go. Use code RADIO to get 20% off now. Insure and Go Gold is endorsed as a Which Better Partner. Discount ends September 30th and applies to base premium of policies only. See insureandgo.com for T's and C's.
Chase is the digital bank that puts you first.
What does that mean?
Well, most people don't bank 9 to 5. That's why Chase customer support is available 24/7.
So I
These
can contact them
lines
whenever
speak.
works best for me.
You've got it. You can chat to a real person through the app.
That's handy.
And you can always call up to speak with them directly.
Now we're talking.
Join the UK's #1 bank for customer satisfaction. Chase. See what your money can do. 18 plus UK residents. Eligibility applies. Claim based on YouGov UK Banks and Building Societies rankings 2024. Verify at chase.co.uk/YouGov.
This is LBC with Ali Mirage. Call 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
Anyway, right on LBC 1233, major public spat going on between Angela Rayner and Unite the Union, particularly Sharon Graham, their General Secretary. She says Unite is crystal clear, call out bad employers regardless of the colour of their rosette. This is in relation to Birmingham Council and the bin strikes. And she said this, Angela Rayner has had every opportunity to interview and resolve this dispute, but has instead backed a rogue council and has peddled lies and smeared its workers fighting huge pay cuts. She is suspended. Unite has suspended Angela Rayner from the party, from the union. She says that she didn't pay her dues anyway in April, so what's the big deal? It's all a moot point. And they're thinking about disaffiliating from the Labour Party. That would be massive. Should the trade unions give up on Labour? 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Alan in Liverpool. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for taking my call. I just want to give you my credentials. I'm a principal officer of the CW Communication Workers Unit, which is an affiliated union to the Labour Party. I mean, we have this discussion daily. I mean, you know, the discussion with Angela Rayner, it's been going on for a long time, but now it seems that all unions are having problems with the so-called Labour Party. And just for clarity, I am a Corbyn supporter, and my ears did pick up with the new party, but nonetheless, I'll be wary of any trade union disaffiliating. That's my personal view, because CLU, we have the same arguments, should be disaffiliated or stay. My personal view is that we do not disaffiliate and we stay. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Starmer's not going to be there
Keep
forever.
left and then continue straight on.
My unit, CW, we've been involved with the New Deal for workers, and it was led by the trade unions. We have a foot in the door. If we just simply disaffiliate, then we're in the wilderness. Now, Starmer's not going to be there forever. I mean, my trade union, and especially my branch, and a lot of branches in CW, are supporting very, 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 very good Labour MPs doing their work. And I'll give you an example. The Hillsborough in a local West Derby, Liverpool MP. So there's work being done that the public do not see. And so just to throw it up in the air and sort of say we don't like what's going on,
Listen,
straight
because
on.
there is this piece in The Guardian today, a very interesting piece, a long essay. Signs of New Life, is the British left making a comeback? It talks about this. Let me give you a flavour. In the past week alone, 100 people have signed up to Majority, a progressive coalition based in the northeast of England. They say it doesn't seem like a lot, but that's a movement that's taking place. They've also talked about Owen Jones's party, We Deserve Better, and they're also talking about this other one that Jeremy Corbyn might start. So now there are increasing number of options to guide in the wall lefties. And
I understand your point, and it's a valid point. But if you remember, you'll know this, 2017, 2019, the Corbyn Labour Party was being now, you can argue, with an 83 seat majority for
Keep
the
right,
Tories.
and then
I
continue
think the
straight
figure
on.
was around about 120%, 120 seats were one with less than 10%
Go
margin.
straight on.
40 of those seats were less than 2% margin. So in terms of growth, Labour weren't that far away.
yeah, I understand.
Potential government, we're not that far away. But you know as well as everyone else, it's a numbers game. So do we sort of throw our hand as trade unions? I'm talking about not individuals, I'm talking about trade unions.
Keep left.
Throw our hand because we simply do not manage.
Alan, I hear you, and you're being very, very measured and sensible about this, if I might say. But there is one Labour MP who shall remain nameless who said this, and I quote, "Unite felt deeply betrayed by Angela." This is Angela Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister, who's managing this whole Birmingham bin dispute. And it thinks the Labour government needs to bring itself back to its primary duty of representing working class people. There is deep satisfaction that the Labour Party has moved away from its roots. Alan, you sense that, but you're saying stick with it and try and change it.
Well, I do, because Angela Rayner is a friend of the CW, and I've met her a few times, and she is an absolutely wonderful person, but she needs to stand on her morals. Now, if she takes the silver coin and then becomes a deputy prime minister, I think those MPs who are initially MPs and then took ministerial roles should think on their morals, not just to taste power. If you're a Labour MP, I'm talking about Liverpool now. We've got some fabulous MPs. I would
Keep right,
want to
and
stop
then
supporting
turn
those
right.
MPs.
Well, Alan, I think I'm very grateful for your call, because I can sense your frustration at certain
Turn
parts
right.
of it, but you're willing to stick it out because you actually think you can fight better from within. Alan, thank you. That is basically the battle for the soul of the Labour Party. Do you jump or do you stick with them and try and change it? Andy in Sherborne in Dorset, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ali. If I put it right meets left on the air.
Go on.
Personally, I said Unite, give the money to Jeremy Corbyn's party.
Why?
I mean,
Why?
Keep left,
Labour,
and then
Labour
turn
are,
left.
Labour Party Starmer, the cabinet,
Turn left.
Labour Party in the blue tie, as far as I'm concerned. They jumped the fence, a bit like Starmer actually when he was human rights lawyer, and it jumped the fence and became head of the CPN, and he picked up a knife for his troubles. As far as I'm concerned, they're the other side of the fence now, Ali. They're not Labour as we know. Thank God for the backbenchers who are called in the name is disabled, and the Starmer who's on total direction. Personally,
right,
I
and then turn
north,
right.
and I drag Andy Burnham, he's called Andy Murray
Turn
Burnham,
right.
by the way. Andy Murray Burnham, I drag him back from the north. I voted for him
arrived
when
at your
Jeremy
destination.
Corbyn got in.
Your route guidance
Starmer had
is now
a
finished.
free run alley at the next election. He had Bailey and the youngster-looking woman, Nandi. He had, that's all he had. He stood against him. So he had a free run, really. If you saw Peston a few months back, when they said, who would you like as leader of the country, well across the board politically, Andy Murray Burnham.
Okay, but
he's
Andy,
not even an MP.
Okay, that's true, but then he has to understand. I mean, Andy Burnham needs to understand whether he's actually going to step up to this or whether he actually enjoys running Greater Manchester, which I know he does.
He's the king of the North.
He is the king of the North. Well, some call him the king, some call him the angel of the North. I don't know which one, but
well,
he's
the man Sam's a real Labour man.
But Andy, let me ask
Starmer's
you this.
not a Labour man.
Okay, I understand this. But Andy, let me ask you this. The job of a political party is to acquire power, is it not? Andy, would you agree with me?
What, at any cost?
Well, look, you can't make any change at all unless you are actually in government. I mean, you can be a party of protest all you like, but if you're a union member and you're deciding where to allocate funds, I mean, wouldn't you want to allocate it to the people you think have got the best chance of forming a government, even if you don't agree on every single policy platform that they stand on?
That's not going to get them in the second time round, is it? If they're going to lie to get into power and then change their policies, that isn't going to give them. They're not going to win the next election.
Andy, why do you think Sharon Graham and Unite feel so hard done by, ignored and let down by Labour over this Birmingham bin strike issue? Why is that so totemic?
I tell you what, Harry, she sounds a scary woman. I wouldn't want to meet her on a
I would,
right?
but you and me both. But why do you think that has become such a totemic issue for Unite?
Well, because maybe she can see all the blue ties as well, Ali.
Well,
I heard earlier that apparently the cabinet, 25 of them, all went to standard state schools. Apparently, it was on the air earlier. I heard that earlier,
right.
but they've lost direction. Starmer's got a discount on blue ties, and he's handing them out to his cabinet.
Okay, thank you, Andy, for your perspective. Appreciated. Sue in Wanstead, afternoon.
Oh, hello there. Hi.
Sue, what would you like to say?
Yeah, I mean, I think Sharon Graham is doing a great job. I don't think she's scary. I think she's an intelligent, strong woman who has working class people's welfare at heart. And the Labour government isn't doing enough to look after such groups. I think it's disgusting what we expect people to live on in this country, people who come and clear out our bins, people who work extraordinary long hours as doctors to care for us. And I think it's about reassessing where our values are and what we value in the UK. Because I've got much more value for those groups and those hard-working people than I have for people who, shore up wealth, don't pay any tax on it. And when we're talking about tax increases, it shouldn't be working people. It should be wealthy people who have the wealth, millions of pounds sitting in the bank, not putting it into society. So that's I think good on her for calling it out. And Labour has to wake up. But it's not the Labour Party at the moment.
Yeah, but Sue, we also all have to wake up, don't we? I mean, the Office of Budget Responsibility put it politely, and it didn't use this word because it's too pejorative, but this is effectively what it meant in its 60-page report. Britain's broke. And if you talk about rich people at the top end, they're internationally mobile. They can leave. They don't have to stay here. Yeah. So there's a balance that needs to be struck, right?
It's 10% tax in Paraguay, so they could all move there, but they won't because they love the culture, they love the facilities, they love the people of the UK. But, if it's really important to you to only pay a minimum amount of tax, go. I mean, I don't know what the weather's like this time of year, but it's low.
They could also go to Italy and Monaco and Dubai. Let me ask you this, Sue. Why do you feel that Labour has so sorely let people down? Because Angela Rayner, to be fair to her, would say, look, I've been getting scars on my back from the business community about the fact that I want to bring in this workers' rights bill, and I'm getting all sorts of pushback on that. I'm trying to do my best for workers here, and then I'm getting told by the Unite the Union that they want to disaffiliate from the Labour Party. Thanks a lot for that.
Look, the Labour Party has become a club. There are MPs who, most people, many people, well, certainly in my area, the MPs, the people they have working for them are local councillors, okay? And they've lost their way. They don't listen to people like me. They don't want to listen to people like me, who they could have avoided this mess about the welfare cuts and about the winter fuel allowance if they actually had some people who were actually open to listening and could take that back. I mean, now they say, we're going to listen. Well, you kind of think you'd start to do that once you got in office.
So Sue, can I ask you, have you been a member of a union? Are you a member of a union yourself?
Yeah, I've always been a member of the union.
Okay.
I'm currently a member of Unison, but I think I'm going to join Unite, actually.
So, Sue, do you think that unions like Unite and maybe Unison and others should actually look elsewhere to put their union members' cash rather than backing the Labour Party? Do you think they should look for an alternative?
I think they need to do what's necessary, and if it's necessary, and I've not been around the table with Sharon Graham and Angela Rayner, but if it's getting to a sense, and it does sound pretty dramatic, but if that's what's needed to make the Labour Party sit up and recognise it can't take the union.
And kill me.
Speeding injures or kills over 1,000 people in London every year. Slow down. To the Mayor of London.
and then turn left. It's all over now. Turn left.